Alright, well, finally got a day off, and it's like my only day off because next 3 days I'm working, but at least it's not 8-hour shifts, so I have a little more time. But, anyways, I just kind of wanted to make some videos while I have time, and I really wanted to talk about how things have gone because it's been a week now since I started that social media fast idea that I had, and I had no idea how it was gonna go. Let me put real quick and put the AC on the floor so that it doesn't interfere, even though it would be nice to have more AC, but oh well. Uh yeah, so I started it a week ago. Didn't know how it was gonna end up. I was like, am I gonna fuck this up? Am I gonna just give up on it? I don't know. I think there's actually like a blue jay over there. That actually looks kind of sick. Give me a second. I'm gonna try to get a picture of this thing. Where is he? There he is. Oh, that's a blue jay. I think I got some pretty good pictures there. Anyways, though, it was a nice little detour there. Um, yeah, I'll actually talk a little bit about birds later because I had another thing I wanted to say about birds, but uh, basically, I I gotta fucking God, Legend ZA. I'll talk about that later too. I think this is gonna be just kind of a weird mishmash of things, but generally just kind of talking about how things have been the past like week. So I didn't know how the social media fast thing was gonna go because I feel like it's always been kind of a constant. Like I always what the hell is that? Is that a bird? That is a bird. I thought it was like a kid screaming or something. What the hell? No, it's a bird. Uh, but yeah. God, it's been like 3 minutes. I had no idea how it was gonna go because it's kind of always been like a constant in my life, and it's not like I'd spend every minute of free time I have like on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. I don't know if I don't know if that leaf blower or whatever it is gonna get picked up by it is a leaf blower. I see now. But I mean, if it does, whatever. Let's see. Maybe a little bit. But too bad. You know what? You're gonna listen to leaf blower and you're gonna like it. Okay? You're gonna listen to that leaf blower, you're gonna like it. Anyways. Finally getting back to where I was after like 4 minutes of detours of blue jays and leaf blowers and all that. I had no idea how it was gonna go because even though I'm not somebody who particularly, it's not like I scrolled through TikTok all day and I make 10 tweets a day. I mean, honestly, 10 tweets a day is probably light to some people. It's like, oh, you only make 10 tweets a day? You know, people probably make like fucking hundreds of thousands. I mean, how many does Elon Musk make a day? I mean, I guess technically not a tweet, it's an X post now. God. Still, like, it's bad when years later at this point, people are still saying tweets and Twitter, not like fucking X. But like, he probably makes so many fucking posts in a day. And that shit, I mean, that just doesn't seem smart. I mean, I guess in a way it's good for him because he's kind of become this big name and brand, and people are constantly looking for those posts and wanting to hear what he has to say. So I guess in that sort of instance, maybe it's not bad for him, but if you're like some random person where you have no clout really, you're just a random person and you're making 10,000, or not 10,000, but like 100 tweets a day or something, it's probably not great, you know? So I gotta stop saying, keep doing it. I was uploading those old recordings and literally I said, in the first 2 minutes or whatever, and I was like, God damn it. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't been really thinking about that recently. I've probably fucked up so much. But I don't really do that sort of stuff. I think part of it was because I never felt like I had anything worthwhile saying. So it's like, why even bother saying it if I don't have anything worthwhile? Like, who the fuck cares about what I think about whatever particular topic? But that's kind of changed in a sense because of this, obviously, because now I'm just doing this, and I'll come back to this in a little bit, but I have been trying to actually do this on a more consistent basis because it is something that I just want to do more of. And I know it does take up time. It does take up a lot of time, but it's more meaningful than scrolling through TikTok or making a bunch of tweets. It's a lot more valuable than that, at least. But so, I wasn't sure how things were going to go in that regard, but I think overall it's been pretty good. I won't say it's been perfect because there were a couple ways that I guess, quote unquote, cheated, and a couple of mistakes I made here and there. Because, for example, the first day, I already accidentally opened up my YouTube subscriptions twice, which is like, I wasn't really trying to intend to, but something I made a point of in that last video was that I was trying to not do those, or I was trying to unlearn those habits. And I kind of fucked that up in a sense. I've been trying to unlearn those habits, but it's hard. I guess it's like when you have, a guy who's been addicted to alcohol for so many years, and sometimes he just picks up the bottle on instinct. He doesn't even think. And it's nowhere near alcoholism. It's not going to destroy my life like alcoholism would, or my liver. But it will, cause some damage to my life. So that's why I wanted to, stop doing it. And I guess in that sense, I've gotten a little bit better with it, because that habit has not been so instinctual. But on the other hand, the fact that it's still happening is like, fuck. Why am I still just instinctually deciding to click on these things when I really shouldn't, But after that first day, I had a couple instances where I did it on accident, even once on my laptop, which was what I was kind of banking on was not going to happen because it's less instinctual on my laptop, because I'm just not as used to a trackpad. This still fucking happened anyway, and I was like, God damn it. But whenever I did it, I like immediately caught myself when I did it, and I corrected it, and I was like, yeah, I'm just closing it. I'm not even going to look at it. I'm just closing it. So that was good in that aspect. Other than that, I'm trying to think. I didn't really use Instagram much at all. I didn't, what else? I did accidentally open up Reddit once because I just mindlessly did it. And I was immediately like, the moment that it happened, I was like, fuck. So I instantly just closed it. So, but I haven't really been engaging with that at all, which is a good thing. Because, I mean, I just don't want to waste so much time anymore. There were a couple other things I didn't really think about that much at the time that kind of I had to deal with. And as I mentioned in the other video, I wasn't going to fully stop using YouTube because I used it for other stuff. Like, for example, I used it for music and I used it for tutorials and stuff. So I ended up watching a lot of tutorials, which was good because there were things that I wanted to learn how to work on or learn more about. And I didn't get that chance when I was watching other stuff. So now it's like I'm exclusively watching tutorials pretty much. I had a lot more time to do that. And I felt like I learned a decent amount about the things I wanted to learn about, you know? So that was good in that aspect. But it came with some weird caveats because obviously first there's the whole fact that there is YouTube comments. So you do kind of get tempted to look at them, which is something I probably need to do less of. But I mean, sometimes they are helpful. It is helpful to look at comments sometimes. Because I mean, you could look at some like scam video or something. And I guess technically they could turn off comments and all that. But you could look at a scam video and it looks totally legit and all that. But if you go to the comments, you can see people be like, this fucking didn't work for me, what the hell? I mean, there are ways that can censor comments, obviously. And manufacture comments. But stuff like that is why, I mean, I think the comment section is generally useful. But sometimes I find myself kind of scrolling through it a lot, which I shouldn't do. But I do it just, you know, I'm curious. And sometimes people will like mention something, like if you're in a tutorial or something, they'll be like, oh, here's like another little thing that I thought of watching this. So sometimes it's helpful, but sometimes it can kind of be like that sort of endless scrolling, which is technically not endless scrolling because there is an end to the comments section eventually. But depending on how popular the video is, there might be hundreds or thousands of comments. So it's probably not good to sit through all of those and just scroll through all of those, just endlessly consuming. But the other thing that also was kind of like endless scrolling in a sense was that there's what's it called? There's recommended videos, which was the real way that I kind of cheated a little bit in that aspect. Because I was I mean, usually if you like listen to music on YouTube, it'll keep recommending you music because obviously you're listening to music. So it makes sense. Like it would be weird if it's recommending you music or if you're listening to music and then it's recommending you like a documentary or something. It's like I'm trying to listen to music, not watch documentary. So that obviously makes sense. But sometimes it would actually recommend me videos where it's like I'd want to watch them. And so I think like the first or second day, I started scrolling a little bit past the video while I was listening to music. And then I saw a bunch of videos of stuff I would have actually probably wanted to watch. There's one video, like I saw a Moist Critical video where it was like, I might be sued or something, or I'm getting sued or something like that. And I was like, huh? And then there was a couple other videos like that where I'm just looking, I'm like, oh my god, I'm kind of missing out on some stuff. What the hell's going on? But I didn't click on those videos. I just saw them. I saw that they existed. And I was like, huh. But I still kind of resisted that whole thing, you know, which is good. But it was kind of a difficult, I guess, thing to grasp with, because you just have to, there's a bunch of stuff that's trying to get you to do stuff, and you have to be like, no. It's not easy, but it was what I did. And I did overall feel like there were a lot of positive effects from it, which kind of has me thinking, like, man, maybe I should just do this forever. Maybe I should just never watch another YouTube video again. But I don't think I'll entirely do that, because I think that's stupid. Like, it's not like there aren't good things about YouTube. There are good things about YouTube or Reddit or, whatever. But it's all about using it in moderation and being able to actually control it. And it's not easy to do sometimes, especially because they're designed to be addictive. So obviously they're trying to get you to stay on the site as long as you can. But I really thought about it, and I was like, wow, this actually was nice, because I have been so out of the loop now, and I've been like hearing about some stuff, like apparently there's some massive crypto crash that happened. And I saw there was like some video that CoffeeZilla uploaded on a second channel. It was like Trump in the thumbnail, and it's like, what did he know? And it's like a line going down. So I don't know if maybe there's some association there going on with that. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with political stuff at all. I feel like there was some other political thing that I heard about that I didn't really look into, but I like heard about it. But it's like this stuff where I'm like kind of out of the loop now, and in a sense it's probably not a good thing. Like, you generally should be informed. This was actually something I had for another video that I wanted to talk about someday. That was going to be a main channel video that I was working on years ago, and I never really got to it. But basically this idea that there's kind of this just unlimited amount of information, just infinite information, and that it kind of just becomes so overwhelming that sometimes it feels better when we aren't getting that information anymore. Or like when we have a very limited amount of information, it feels better, even though technically we're missing out on information and news and things, but like it feels just better because you're not so overwhelmed all the time by things. And that was really like something that I felt this week, because I just don't have to constantly be thinking about all these things and all these, political things, gaming news. I don't have to think about all of it. It's nice. It's really nice. I like it a lot. And something that maybe I will be doing a lot more of, because it just felt better. And not only that, but I felt I was definitely a lot more productive this week as well. Because for starters, I uploaded a lot of videos this week. Some of which were ones that I had been meaning to upload for a while, like the Pokemon Go one. I had been meaning to upload that for a while. Some of them were ones I'd also recently recorded, like the Identity one and all that. I uploaded those in pretty quick succession, and like it was kind of tough to do because I'll have a little more time to do it now. But I think I pretty much finished most of the one on Sunday that I uploaded on Monday. I finished up pretty much most of it already, so I basically just had to upload it. And then Monday night, I started working on the one for Tuesday, and I had to do the thumbnail for the Tuesday one on Tuesday night after I got out of work, so I did that real quick, which wasn't too bad. I got it done pretty quick. I mean, it was a pretty brief thumbnail too, so that was good. But so let me real quick, I'm gonna put my phone on silent so that it's not going because I know sometimes it shows up in the recording. I feel like generally there's a pretty good job that the phone mic does. It's actually surprising because I bought a $30 lav mic, which, you know, it's not crazy or anything, but I was like, maybe I should have a bit of better quality and not have the microphone if I ever do another, if I do another camera video. I probably shouldn't have the microphone like where there's a fucking air vent. So, Jesus, what the hell? That was a scream. But as I was saying, I have this $30 lav mic, and phone mic kind of does a good job. Kind of does a better job. It's funny. I'm still using the phone mic even though I've had this lav mic for like a week at this point now. So, yeah. But as I was saying, back to what I was saying, I have felt way more productive this week than I was last week. Even though it hasn't been perfect, I do feel like I'm getting better in that aspect, for sure. I feel much, much better than I did before. And I kind of want to upload more consistently. I think it is good for the YouTube algorithm, too, if you upload consistently. And I noticed a lot of the stuff that I was making was getting like 0 views. Even when I uploaded that first 1 or 2 videos, it was like 0 views. It was like nobody's watching that. But after uploading like 4 days in a row, now things are getting some views here and there. Which maybe that's because I talked about Pokemon Go and that's a little more popular. I don't know. But it's like everything has been getting more views now. And I mean, views aren't everything, but it does feel nice to know that people are actually watching the stuff that I'm putting out, and it's not just me throwing something out there and nobody gives a fuck about it. So that's good. But it feels rewarding to kind of upload stuff more consistently. And I think that's something I want to aim for in the long term, is more consistency, and also more consistency in these, because there's a lot of times where I just stop talking, or I have like these long pauses. And I mean, sometimes I was looking at one of the recent ones I did, and I was like, why is there this long pause? And I remembered it was when I was drinking water, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to leave it in. But I'm trying to remove some of that dead air and make these more consistent and more interesting, so you're not just sitting here kind of listening to me talk very slowly. So that's something I've been trying to get better with. But I want to get consistent, not just in terms of me talking more consistently and trying to stay more on point, but also the fact that I want to make more stuff more consistently. And I've had a lot of ideas, some ideas that have kind of gotten ruined now because of that drive failure, which I'm kind of saving for another topic as well. But I had these ideas that I wanted to make, and part of me kind of feels like, fuck, it's ruined now because I don't have all the footage that I wanted, or all the footage that I had that I should have used. But it's kind of made me want to make more stuff that's more consistent, and it's lower in scope, because I had this video, which I think I'm fine with talking about it now, to be honest, because it's not really a revolutionary idea, and it's something that I've had on my mind for a long time at this point. It's been over a year in the making. Basically, when Pokemon Go did their Sinnoh tour, I really wanted to get a shiny Chatot, because not only because it was a new shiny, but because it's my favorite Pokemon. And there's a lot of kind of value that I have with Chatot, not just because, oh, you know, I'm like some hipster that's got to like something different from everybody else or whatever. But I love Chatot a lot because of how I used it when I was a kid, and just, I love its design. I love that it's kind of, what's the word? A more, you know, unpopular Pokemon that people don't like. A lot of the time people, when I tell them I want to get like a shiny Chatot in Pokemon Go, they're like, what the fuck is a Chatot? What's that? I've never heard of that before. No, nobody knows what it is. And it's funny. And I kind of like that because it's a little more unique, no? You know? It's not just like I'm saying, I like Charizard. Everybody fucking likes Charizard. It doesn't make you fucking special. But when I tell people I like Chatot, they're like, what the hell is that? They don't even know what it is. So that's a cool thing. I like that. And so basically my idea was, I was going to try to get a shiny Chatot in Pokemon Go because it was coming out. It is, you know, one of the new shinies for that event. But like, I worked my ass off so hard to try and get that shiny. I was literally at my park in it was like freezing February cold. I mean, it wasn't like the worst weather of all time. It wasn't like 20 degrees or whatever. But it was like 30 something degrees, maybe like 40s. It was pretty bad. And it was so cold out, and I was out just walking for so many hours. I probably walked like at least 12 hours. I can't remember the exact detail, but I walked like 12 hours. I think I walked like 50 kilometers or something. Or maybe it was less. I might be, it's been a while. But like, it was a lot of walking for 2 days in the fucking winter. It was a lot. And I tried my ass off for the shiny. Didn't happen. And it was really sad. Like, I pushed myself so much to the point where it was like, I had genuine like exhaustion and pain in my body for like 2 days afterwards. Which, probably not something you should do for a fucking video game for a bunch of differently colored pixels. But it was what I did, you know? It was just what I did. But afterwards, it gave me this idea that I've had for a really long time, which is to try and revive the original Chatot I had back in Pokemon Diamond, because I basically killed it because of a botched trade that I did, where I traded my first ever starter Pokemon and my first ever legendary Pokemon to my cousin. I didn't want to trade him back, and I was like, fuck. Well, obviously I wasn't saying fuck as a kid, but I was like, I want them back, and he wouldn't give them back to me. And so the only thing I knew what to do, I was like, I'm just going to restart the game so I can get another Chimchar. And that was a big mistake, because I wiped my save and got rid of my level 100 Chatot that I loved. But the silver lining is that I had put it in Pokemon Battle Revolution, and it was still in my Pokemon Battle Revolution file, even like over a decade later. Not even like almost a decade and a half, a little more than a decade and a half even. And so I got this idea to try and revive it somehow, which I didn't know if that was going to be going and trying to manually make it in like PK Hex or something and try to make it legal and all that, or whatever. But turns out you can actually view Pokemon Battle Revolution data inside PK Hex. So I ended up taking all those Pokemon and putting them in files. Like, you can basically convert them into a file or save them as a file, and then put them into a real Pokemon game, like a real Pokemon ROM. And that was what I ended up doing. And I ended up reviving my Chatot, and not just my Chatot, but that original Infernape and Dialga that I traded away. Their data was still in Pokemon Battle Revolution somehow, and it was like the most fucking insane thing, because I didn't even know that they were in there. It was like, I forget how it works. I gotta remember for the video, when I write the video. But I was fucking mind blown when I saw the fact that they were in PK Hex when I checked the party. I was like, oh my god. Like, it was like almost tears were forming in my eyes when I saw that shit. It was unbelievable to see that they were still alive somehow. Like I thought they were gone forever. I did not think they would ever exist again, but they were there. And it was fucking incredible. I was so happy. And on top of that, I got to revive that Chatot. And it was like a surreal moment because that thing had been dead since probably like 2009. And it's fucking 2025 and I revived my favorite Pokemon. Like, holy shit. It was a whole process and it was really cool. But, you know, that was kind of my plan. Originally, that video was just about the Sinnoh Tour experience I had. And then it completely changed. Because then I was like, well, what if I try to revive my favorite Pokemon? What if I try to bring back that original Charap? And that was what I did. And that was where it was going to end. But then it was like, well, what if I tried to get every single ribbon on Charap? And that's when it went off the rails. And that was when the scope went fucking nuts. And I know I just ranted about Pokemon for like fucking 10 minutes there. But the point is that it started off as this one thing. It started off as just me talking about this experience that I had and kind of what I learned from it. And then it was, well, what if I tried to actually bring back my favorite Pokemon from the dead after all these years in a pretty interesting way that a lot of people probably don't even know is a thing that you can do. So, did that. And then it was like, well, what if I went even further with it? And that was when it went off the rails, really. And that was... The problem that I had after that was then I had to learn how to do fucking Pokemon contests. And that was like... That took me like a month of me just... I didn't even want to fucking bother with it. And eventually I fucking did it. And I was like, okay, that's done. Thank God. Now I just gotta do the Battle Tower. And I started doing the Battle Tower and I just hated the Battle Tower so much. And it's just like, I don't want to do it. I'm not good at it. And I don't know all the ins and outs. And it's going to take me a long time to learn. And I just don't really enjoy it. So I stopped making it. And that's what happened. And then it just kind of sat dormant forever. And now that project's kind of a little fucked up because, well, I kind of lost all the footage now because, yeah, like I had footage of me hacking my Wii and opening up my Battle Revolution for the first time in a long time and all of that. And it's all just kind of dead now. Or, well, I mean, maybe I can get the footage back at some point. That would be kind of nice if I can recover the footage, if I can go to, like, data recovery or whatever. But the fact that I lost it all just fucking sucks. But it also kind of taught me that maybe I need to really lower the scope of these things because I've lost, like, a bunch of really interesting ideas I had that are just now fucking gone forever. Or maybe not forever, but could be gone forever at this point. They're kind of Schrodinger's video concepts at this point. They could be alive, they could be dead. I don't know. I mean, Schrodinger's drive. I don't know what the fate of that drive is going to be. It would suck if I lose all the stuff on that drive, but it sucks that it happened, but there is kind of a positive light to it because while it does suck that it happened, I mean, the silver lining is that it kind of taught me to not do that again, not make these big ideas that I'm never going to be able to finish because now I can't finish it, and I could have at least had something before, and now I don't have that anymore. So that's, I think, one of the big takeaways I kind of had from all that, and it's kind of made me want to make stuff more consistently again, like I was saying before. Just try to make more consistent stuff instead of dealing with just constant scope creep, which, if you know anything about like development and code and stuff, it's a very kind of similar thing where it's just, you start off with this basic idea, like you make a game, maybe you just make like a Mario clone or something, and then it like evolves because it's like, well, what if I add this RPG mechanic or something like that? What if I add this whole other thing? And then it just becomes this whole fucking thing and you never finish it. Because it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. You can't do it all. You just can't. Even if you're not lazy and you're working on it a ton, you just fucking can't. It's just too much to do. So that is kind of the same thing that applies to these videos where it's just, I fucked up because I just kept making these scopes too big, and I just kept coming up with these new ideas to add on to it, and it just never fucking, it was not something I should have done. But too late. Can't change the past. Maybe I get that footage back at some point, but there's a good chance I don't. And that sucks, but I'm gonna live with it, and I'm gonna try to find ways to salvage it and not make those mistakes in the future, most importantly. And so that's why I think I'm gonna really try to make an effort to reduce a lot of my scope and stop making these fucking ridiculous videos that never get finished. So, all that to say, I'm trying to be a little more consistent, both with this and this is kind of like something that popped in my head today. I don't know if I'm going to stick to it or not, but my idea was kind of going back to what I used to do, where when I was first starting that channel, I was trying to do one upload a month was my hope. And sometimes I just made these random reviews about, what's it called? I'd make like a random video about Castlevania Judgment. Sometimes I'd make videos about, the Dino Master video, which is a whole other thing, which I'm eventually going to make another Dino Master video. That's going to kind of talk a little more about that and just some other ideas I have in my head and all that. And also that has been kind of victim to scope creep as well. That's something else that I'm going to talk about at some point. I'll get to that someday. I have a lot of ideas, but a lot of them don't get finished. But when I started making those videos, I was making them about once a month, and it wasn't easy for me to do. But I did it. Sometimes the deadlines were a little not great, like I uploaded my video I wanted to make about Halloween after Halloween. It's like 2 days after Halloween because I grinded my ass off like 5 days before Halloween just getting like most of this thing done. And then I couldn't finish it. I had to upload it like a day or two later or whatever. And then the same thing happened with the Christmas one too, I think. Or I might have gone, I can't remember. I think I uploaded on Christmas, or maybe it was Christmas, day after Christmas. I can't remember. Point is that I was trying to make these things once a month or like close to that. And I'm thinking about trying to go back to that and just trying to reduce my scope on things that I'm talking about. Because number one, I just don't have the time because I'm working now. I wasn't working back then. And even that, I was struggling. Part of that was because of other things, but I was fucking struggling to make those. And now I'm struggling even more because I'm struggling to make these, let alone making a more edited, scripted sort of style of video. That's fucking hard to do. Especially because I have a certain level of perfectionism and quality. And I mean, I'm trying to let go of that a little bit and not be so perfectionistic and that sort of thing. But it's fucking still something I care a lot about, and I want to put a good amount of effort into it. I don't want to release something that I think is garbage. I want it to feel good, and I want it to sound good and be interesting to watch, not just be some slop that I put into Chat GPT or whatever and called it a day, So I want to get more consistent, and it's hard to do, but I'm really trying, and I'm trying to make the most of my time, which is something I wasn't really doing before. Again, kind of going back to where we all started here, with the whole social media thing. I've been trying to really reduce my time on it, and I think it's been good. And when I am spending time on, for example, YouTube, I'm watching these tutorials that are kind of helping me learn things that I wouldn't have known otherwise for this stuff, which is good. But God, why am I burping all of a sudden? What's happening? But anyways, maybe I'll cut those out. I don't know. But yeah, I have been trying to really save my time a lot. I'm debating whether I want to talk about this in this video or save it for another video. I could talk about it now because I think maybe I'll do another video on it in the future, but I could talk about it a little bit. I don't remember. I mentioned it in a video. I can't remember if I actually uploaded it or not. I think I uploaded it, but I can't remember what video it was. But I mentioned that sometimes I really struggle to get out of bed in the morning, and it's tough. And it's not like, oh, I guess there is an air of me being tired or not really pain, but just kind of soreness and I don't want to get up, that sort of thing. God, I keep saying too much, but I don't know. It's just easy for me to I guess make it easy for you to relate to me. I guess I don't fucking know. But back to what I was saying. I find I struggle a lot to get out of bed. This has been kind of a common thing for years, and part of it was the social media thing. Because I would often just kind of open up Reddit or whatever sort of social media, and I just spend sometimes 10, 15, 20 minutes. It's not that you spend 40 minutes on it, you don't even realize it. And it's like, why am I doing this? And also, another thing I never got to mention in that video, which I was going to mention it and I forgot in that social media video. Part of the reason that it kind of came to me too was not just because of that COD Zombies match where I was like, why did I just waste all this time and I just felt like shit. Part of it was also that day there was a big controversy that was going on because basically Hassan Piker, big political streamer, I personally, I'm just gonna say up front, not a very big Hassan fan. Kind of more of a hater, if I'm being honest. But there are also things I do respect him for, in a sense. He definitely has a pretty strong work ethic, I'd say. But basically, he had this shock collar or something on his dog, which was kind of fucking bizarre. I think it's one thing if you have a shock collar on your dog when your dog is literally trying to attack people or attack other dogs or doing something genuinely bad. But it's another thing when your dog has a shock collar on it and the dog is just trying to get up and move, trying to get out of bed, which ironic, I guess, is talking about how I get stuck in bed, but we'll get back to that. But I was looking at that and I just kept reading these threads. I was like, why the fuck am I reading all these threads? Why do I keep going in these Reddit threads to read about Hassan and how Hassan is, putting this shock collar on his dog, which it is fucked up. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a bad thing. I think he should get a lot of shit for it, and he rightfully has. But I was also like, why am I this invested in something I don't care about? It's not like I watch Hassan, really. I do kind of hate watch a lot of the stuff sometimes. There's the Ethan Klein content nuke. I watched that. And then I also watched the Destiny one too. That sort of stuff. But my point is, why am I watching this stuff, you know? Or why am I so invested in this stuff that doesn't fucking matter to me at all? And that was when I made that decision partially to do that. I'm gonna drink some water real quick. I'm also very hungry randomly now. This water bottle's fucked up. There we go. No more dolphin sounds. Hoping that can stave off the hunger for a little bit, because I don't know what the fuck happened. Why am I so hungry? I mean, I guess I have been yapping for 45 minutes now. Fuck, this is gonna be long, huh? I want to upload shorter stuff. I want to make more shorter stuff and upload it. But sometimes this just kind of happens. But this was just kind of meant to be like a general update over the week and stuff and things to talk about. Anyways, getting back to where I was. That whole Hassan shock collar thing was a big reason why I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Why am I this invested in all these fucking Reddit threads like shitting on Hassan when it's I don't particularly like the guy, but it's also I don't need to fucking read a million comments about this shit. So I just stopped you know, engaging with that, and I think it's been good. But also, I, you know, was spending a lot of time in bed. Just sometimes when I wake up in the morning, it's just hard to get out of bed, because it is comfortable in bed. Even though my bed honestly isn't that comfortable, my bed's kind of fucked up and I need a new bed, like, ASAP. But it's been that way for years. But, you know, it's kind of comfortable in bed because, you know, you're under nice warm blankets, especially when winter comes. That's when it's going to get real fucked up. It's going to be so cold. And it's like, oh, I could just stay in my nice warm bed and just relax. It's nice, you know. There's another, you know. But I want to make the effort to change that, and for a long time I didn't know how to do it. I was trying to figure out how to do it, and I even asked ChatGPT about it, which kind of feels embarrassing to say, but you know, it is what it is. I asked ChatGPT what you know, how I could kind of fix my sleep issues and this sort of stuff, and just kind of taking too long to sleep and not getting out of bed fast enough and all that. It was telling me, you gotta set an alarm and put it across the room, which is, number one, that's kind of hard for me to do because my room is not very big. But number two was that I didn't want to do that because I kind of like having my phone at arm's reach, because, you know, God forbid I wake up in the middle of the night and like the roof has collapsed on my legs and I literally can't fucking move. I can get my phone. You know, it's not gonna be across the room and I'm gonna be like, well, I'm fucked. Oh my god, that leaf came straight at me, but it hit my windshield. That was kind of funny. That was kind of fun. I like actually flinched when I saw that leaf coming towards me. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to. Also, you know, real quick, my Go++ probably stopped. I want to reactivate it. Oh, never mind, it didn't. There is a yellow gem here though. Didn't notice that before. But as I was saying, for the leaf rudely interrupted me. It was telling me to do that stuff, put your phone across the room and make sure you have to get up and get out of bed to turn off the alarm. And another problem I had with it too was that I didn't want to be reliant on one alarm. I have this weird kind of, I don't know if I'd call it a phobia, I'd guess, but just kind of this uh idea of I don't want to just have one alarm. So like whenever I would set alarms, I set like 3 alarms. So it's like, let's say I'm waking up at 9 o'clock, for example. Wake up at 9 o'clock, or alarm for 9 o'clock, and then like alarm at like 9:16 because I don't want it to interfere with the snooze times just in case. But then like I also want to make sure I have a separate alarm just in case that one doesn't go off or something, you know. So I have one for 9:16, then I have one for like 9:30 or something like that. And then I'd also put alarms on my Fitbit to make sure. And I'm like very paranoid about not being able to get up and fucking something up. Like you get up at like 10 and you were supposed to get up at 9 and you have work in like 20 minutes. It's like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? You know, that sort of thing. That was a big problem that I kind of had to overcome, and I didn't know how to solve it because I didn't want to put my phone across the room again because I was worried, like, what if there's an emergency and I need my phone and I can't really get up to get it and I'm fucked. That sort of thing. And then I came up with this genius idea because, as I mentioned, when I made that other video where I had that 2 hour 45-minute video or whatever it was, 2 hours 30 minutes, I can't remember, it was 2 hour 40 something, I don't know. But the point is, when I made that video, I used my old phone because I still have my old phone, and it kind of hit me today, or not today, what was it, Monday or Sunday or something, where I was like, I should use that old phone as the alarm to make me get out of bed. Because then I also kind of have this weird paranoia, I guess you want to call it that, where when I wake up, like immediately I have to turn the alarm off because I guess I just kind of feel bad. I feel like it's gonna wake people up, even though it doesn't. Like nobody's in the area when my alarm goes off usually. But I think about people like outside. What if somebody hears my alarm? They're like, oh god, that's so loud. Even though it's not even really going to be that loud. It's not like I turned it up all the way. It's like decently loud, but not that loud. But I not freak out, but I like panic and I have to turn it off. I have to turn it off. Like I have to snooze it and turn it off like ASAP. And because of that, now I have to get up at that time. So when I wake up at like 9, I set it for like 9:15. So it's like, you have to be out of bed in 15 minutes. You have to get up out of the bed in 15 minutes or else this thing's going to keep going off. And especially I put the Easter egg song for Reckoning, Remember Us. I put that as my alarm because there's just something about it. When it starts off with this like really sick kind of guitar riff. I guess I don't know what to call it. I'm still not great with music stuff, but it goes like I can't do it. And that just, I'm glad nobody was like staring at me in that moment, or nobody's here. That was a little embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. But again, trying to not be someone I'm not, or not be this blank slate because I want to hide everything, you know. That's another video I never uploaded about hiding myself. Maybe I'll upload that at some point. But anyways, though, getting back to where I was. Yeah, that guitar riff comes on and it always fucking instantly, like, the moment I hear it, I like pop out of bed. Just eyes wide open. You know, I gotta turn this off ASAP. Which again, I guess is partially because like the weird thing of like I don't want people to know what I listen to, but like I probably should. I don't know. It's a very weird thing. But kind of getting back on track a little bit. I always want to turn that off as soon as possible. And so now when that 9:15 alarm goes off on my other phone, I got to get up. But I also have alarms that wake me up earlier so that, I have a little bit of time to wake up. But I'm not sitting in bed, or I'm not laying in bed for an hour or 30 minutes or whatever, So that has been a big help. Additionally, on top of the whole social media thing, I think in the long term, generally, I am just going to kind of avoid social media more and really limit myself on that fact, because I just feel so much better. I feel like I get to do more with my day. I get to feel like I do better things with my day. And it doesn't mean I can't watch some videos every now and then, but it means I've got to be a little more selective, and I can't just watch a million things every day and all that. It means I really have to use that time wisely to do things. And that's something I really like. Something I'm really happy about, and I'm going to continue to try and do because I think it's good. So yeah, this was a pretty long thing, and I'm trying to think if I have anything else to really talk about here, because I kind of said most of what I wanted to say about scope creep stuff and consistency and that sort of thing. I don't remember if there's anything. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. There's those weird kids. There's just two weird kids that they're just looking at me like, what the hell? I don't know. To be fair, there's this one girl at work, and I was talking to her. She was like, "Oh, so are you still in high school, or like?" And I was like, "Well, I'm way past high school." She was like, "What? How old are you?" I was like, "I'm 25." And she's like, "What? I would have never guessed that." And keep in mind, when I'm talking to her, that's me with, some facial hair. Because usually I try to shave it sometimes. And usually I just shave the whole thing off. I just clean shave and go baby face for like a day or two until it starts to grow back again. That was her. That was her seeing me with actual facial hair. There are so many people where they've talked to me and they're like, "Wow, like, how old are you? Like, you're still in high school, or you just like maybe you just finished high school?" And I'm like, "No, I'm 25." And they're like, "What?" It's crazy. It's a whole other topic I'd love to talk about sometime too. About, I guess, how I feel age-wise, because I feel very strange age-wise. I was actually talking about this with another Pokemon Go friend I have the other day, and he's like, "I just turned like 40, but mentally I still feel like I'm fucking 22." I don't feel like I'm really that old, but like I physically feel that old, but I don't mentally feel like I'm 40, And I felt like the same way. It's like I'm 25, but I don't. Maybe like physically I kind of feel 25. Even physically, I kind of don't feel 25 in that sense. Physically, I feel like I'm like 20 still or something, maybe, or younger even. But mentally, I feel like I'm like 20 years old, probably. Maybe not even, because like for a long time I wasn't even really doing adult things, and now I'm doing adult things. Like I'm working and I'm going places and that sort of thing. I only just started doing that recently. It's like I just got in my 20s now, and I was like in my teens up until, June. Up until like half a year ago. Not even half a year ago, like a couple months ago, I was like fucking maybe 18. Mentally. Not physically. But, it's a very strange thing. I'll probably save it for a whole other topic someday. Talk about. It'd be a shorter topic too, because definitely need some shorter topics. Cause freaking almost an hour here. But yeah, the whole point of me saying that was that those kids maybe thought I was fucking high school or something, and they're like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" There's like there's some kid, I guess, who is probably like 4, 5, 6 years younger than me, maybe something like that, and his name was Eddie, and my name is Teddy, and I would have these kids sometimes that would look at me, and they'd be like, "Hey Eddie, Eddie, what's up, man?" And it's like really awkward. There was actually this one time years ago. It was probably like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was probably around March or April or something. And I was kind of nearby the local school walking around. And it wasn't like right near the school, but it was like a couple blocks away from the school. And there were all these kids that came up. It was this group of kids that came up. And they're like, "Oh, hey man, Eddie, how's it going?" Like, I'm like surrounded by this group of kids, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, "Hey, how's it going, guys?" And then I didn't know what to do, so I was just like, "But my name's not Eddie." And they all like paused for a second, and I was like, "It's Teddy." They're like, "Oh!" They were like, they were all like freaking out. Yeah, it's like that one. Fuck, is it like a rap battle or something where the guy's like, "Oh my god," or something like that. Those kids, they're all like lose their minds. They're like, "Yo, my god, that's crazy!" And then they all started chanting, "Teddy, Teddy, Teddy," and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is happening? That was a fever dream of a day. There was like some other woman. I was like crossing the street, and I had like gloves on because it was cold. This woman, she just like starts talking. She's like, "Yeah, that's a fucking great idea. They don't want you touching no stuff." And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? What? Okay. Like, I guess she thought they were just gloves to, have on, because it was like still kind of after the aftershocks of COVID. It was a fucking day and a half right there. Let me tell you what. That was a fucking day. I still remember that day vividly because it was so fucking bizarre to just have that woman, and then like, maybe 20 minutes later I have these kids all fucking chanting my name, like this group of kids surrounding me chanting my name. Like, what the fuck is going on? I just wanted to go home at that point. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, wow. That got really off topic, huh? Really off topic, really fast there. But, yeah. Totally forgot what I was talking about before those kids showed up. that was fun. Let me think. Is there anything else I want to talk about that kind of happened this week? I did also, something I didn't mention. I did do a decent amount of cleaning this week, which is good. Because my room was kind of fucking not great. It used to be horrendous. And I'll save the whole discussion for another time, I think. Because I'm not going to make this a 3-hour video or something. But it was bad. Like, I'm talking, there was like this plate of waffles from probably like middle school or something that was under my bed for years. Like, I did this probably in 2021, I want to say 2021 probably, and they were probably there since like 2014, maybe 2013, 2014, 2012 even, maybe. It was bad. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, it was really, really, really fucking bad. I have always been kind of a messy person. Part of that is because, again, like I said before, my room is very small. I don't have a lot of space to work with. Hard to fit a lot of stuff. So it was for a long time, I just kind of would shove stuff and just be like, whatever, I'll do it another time. But a couple of years ago, I started actually making the effort to clean it, but never really was able to fully clean it because I didn't have a lot of stuff to organize. I didn't have a lot of ways to organize it, is the best way I should say it. I didn't have a lot of stuff to organize it because it's just, how am I going to do that? I'm going to beg my parents to buy me a bunch of bins. But now that I have money, I could just buy bins myself. I could just spend my money on bins. So that's what I did. Spend all my money on, or not all my money, but I spent like $60 on like 3 really nice big bins. And now my room is a lot cleaner, and it's a lot easier to pull stuff out from under there to retrieve stuff like, I need this cable, let me pull out this bin, get the cable, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to do that anymore. Or I can just do that now instead of like, I gotta pull out like 5 different things and it's a pain to put them all back together or to put them back in. Now it's just like, I just pull this thing out, grab this, put it back, boom, done. And I still have some things to do to make it simpler, but generally, I'm doing pretty alright in that aspect. Pretty good. I've been cleaning a lot recently, and I still have a lot more to clean. I think when winter comes, there's a chance that I'm just making these in my room. Because it's gonna be fucking cold. I'm not gonna want to be out here every fucking day, even though I do like going outside. Like, I want to make the effort to go outside somewhere every day. But there might be some days in winter where I'm just like, I really don't want to go out today. It's like fucking 18 degrees outside. No thanks. Which, by the way, 18 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Because those are 2 very different things. Like 18 degrees, I don't know how much that is in Celsius, but it's probably like in the negatives in Celsius, I think, because I know like 32 degrees Fahrenheit is like 0 degrees Celsius or something like that. I think, I don't remember, it's been a while. But yeah, point is that I don't want to go outside all the time, so maybe it'd be nice to have a cleaner room where I can just kind of, maybe I do some of those camera videos more. But yeah, I'm trying to think about other things to say. What else can I say here before I end this? I talked about cleaning, talked about the bed thing a little bit. I talked about, the social media thing. Could bring it kind of back to that, I guess. I mean, do I really have anything else to add to that? And then just, it feels good. Still kind of have the habits, trying to unlearn them slowly. I talked about the information thing and all that. I don't really think I have anything else to say on the social media thing. I talked about the consistency thing as well. Talked about the fucking chat-out video I plan to make for like 10 minutes. I feel like I kind of divulged a lot of what's going to be in that video, but that video, I want it to be, oh my god, my stomach's going crazy right now. I am surprised. I mean, I did just have a bagel. Like, I had a bagel for breakfast, and then I like also worked out, and I've been talking for an hour. I guess that's kind of just made me burn a lot of calories, and I only probably ate like, I don't know, was it like 400 calories? So I guess my stomach kind of has a right to be upset, but still, come on, man. Maybe I'll drink some water and see if that fixes it. Kind of fixed it before. Sorry about that. I'm trying to think. I really don't think there's anything else for me to talk about. So I guess I could just start wrapping this up. I'm gonna try to be consistent and upload something every day. I think is my goal. If I can manage it this fucking week when I'm working 5 days, I can probably do it, you know, probably do it other weeks where I'm working like 3 days or something. And I kind of, fuck. Sometimes the streak thing can be hard for me because sometimes it feels really unmotivating when you fuck up a streak. But I think also by doing these daily uploads, if people are actually watching these, kind of gives me a sense of like, fuck, I don't want to disappoint people. Because again, I'm trying to think if I feel like I've mentioned this at some point, but I can't remember if it was a specific video. But a lot of what kind of motivates me is not really myself so much. A lot of what really motivates me is doing things for other people. And so it's like when I'm uploading these, it kind of feels hard if I'm just doing it for myself. Like, yeah, I'm going to upload this because I want to upload it. It doesn't really, it's harder to motivate me in that aspect. But when it's like, I'm doing this because there are other people that want to watch this stuff and they enjoy hearing me just talk about random topics, that is a lot more motivating to me. So I think if I keep uploading consistently, then YouTube is going to recommend it more consistently. And then because it's recommending it more consistently, then, you know, I have more people that want to watch it consistently. So then I upload more consistently because I am motivated to do it consistently at that point, you know? I think that would be a pretty good thing for me to work on in the long term. I would like that a lot, to be consistent and then to have a consistent motivation to do these things. It's not just, oh, I just want to do this because I want to. It's like, no, I want to do this because other people want me to do it. And I feel motivated. Like again, it's probably a whole other, there's like 10 different topics I could pick out of this video at this point. But to me, the reason why I work as hard as I do at work now, there are 4 main reasons, which, you know, maybe I won't fully divulge some of them, thinking about it now. But basically I have 4 reasons why I work, and none of them are me. I mean, I guess technically you do 5 and you could say, well, it's nice to get money. It's nice to be able to buy things. Like, again, buying those bins and buying lav mics and buying games that I wanted to buy. Just reminded me now. I spent like $50 this morning on this trilogy of visual novels that I've been wanting to buy for a long time. It looks pretty cool. It looks kind of Xeriscape inspired. So I was like, fuck it. You know what? Let's do it. The 3rd game just came out recently. I think it's called, what is it called? I think it's called The Side 4, like the number 4 God or something. And I thought it looked pretty interesting. And they were on sale. And the whole trilogy was on sale. It was like $43, so I bought that. I also bought Heroes of Hammerwatch 2 because I thought about that. And it was on sale. It's like pretty good discount, I think, like 50 or 60% off. And I played a lot of Heroes of Hammerwatch 1 with friends back then, so fuck it, you know? Let's buy it. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Money's nice to be able to buy stuff like that and not be like, well, that was like a third of the money that I had left, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm gonna have to beg my parents for money or something. But the 4 main reasons why I work as hard as I work is because, number 1, because I want to work hard for the company that employed me and gave me a chance when a lot of other companies really wouldn't have, because I didn't have a resume that was like, oh shit, this guy's this guy's good. My resume was basically just, well, I went to college for 2 years and I got a high school diploma, I guess, and I can do these soft skills, and that was basically it. But I didn't have like work experience or anything on there, so they were kind of taking a little bit of a gamble with employing me. And I mean, I'd say it worked out for them pretty well. But, I want to prove myself that I am capable of this job, that sort of thing. I keep saying, way too much. But I wanted to prove myself. And so I want to work hard for the company that gave me the chance to do that and to showcase who I am. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that. I'm not, trying to work myself to death here. I'm not putting in 150% all the time, but I do try my hardest to put in even just 101%, but, like 110%. Which long term is fucked. But in the short term, it can be a good thing, And then the other reasons why I work are for the customers, because obviously I enjoy helping people. I enjoy making a customer's day, putting in the extra mile for a customer. A lot of customers don't realize it, but there are some customers. There was a customer the other day where I just cleaned off the slicer because I had some roast beef on it. And it kind of gets... If you've ever worked with roast beef before, you ever sliced roast beef, it is very messy. Very, it drips a lot. There's a lot of, like, blood, I guess? I don't know. But it's messy. It's not great. So I decided to just, take a second. I take a second sometimes if I have the time. Usually I do. I just take a paper towel, wipe it off. I would like to be able to, take sanitizer and clean it and all that, but I don't have that kind of time. So best I can do, take a paper towel, clean it off so that kind of juice from the roast beef isn't on there. And she was when I was giving her the cold cuts, she's like, thank you for, taking the extra time to do that. It's really nice of you to do that. And a lot of people in the deli don't do that because, you just don't have time. There's just no time. But it's something that people will see, and maybe a lot of them won't say anything about it, but they will appreciate it. So I try to put in extra work for those customers. And then I also put in a lot of work because of my coworkers, because I know it kind of I know it's kind of weird, I guess, in a sense, but it's like I want to work hard for my coworkers because I don't want them to have to do all the work. I don't want them to have to pick up my slack, and I want to, I guess, kind of make it up to them for teaching me and helping me out a lot of the time. I want to help them in return. So I have one coworker, and he's very big on the grab and goes, and he's very big on, kind of the quality of things, making things look nice, taking the extra time to clean things that normally you don't really have to clean, but like probably should clean them because it would look better. And so he kind of teaches me a lot of that stuff, and I try to really make it up to him by trying to help him as much as I can, because he usually is there in the morning and I'm usually there at night. So I'm trying to help him when I can, just set things up for him so that he doesn't have to go open a new meat. He doesn't have to go, he doesn't have to get new bags. He doesn't have to fill the fridge or whatever, that sort of thing. I try to help him when I can. That's like one example. And, I have another coworker. He's showed me a lot of stuff, and he always helps me a lot at night. So I try to really make it up to him and help him whenever I can, because, I'm really grateful for all the stuff he's done for me. So, I work hard for their sake too, not just for the company and the customers, but also for them. And finally, maybe a little less unwilling to divulge, but I also want to work hard for the girl that I mentioned in that 2.5 hour video, which, see, when I made that video, by the way, I was kind of going to try to not let it on very much, because it's like, what if she watches that video and she sees that and it's like, oh, this guy is kind of, he kind of thinks of me in that way. But, we're not entirely there yet, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to not make her uncomfortable, but I don't know. There's, some things there, is what I'll say. And I don't think it's entirely one-sided either. This is not what I expected to be doing, but yeah. But when I made that video, I was like, I'm gonna try to not really lay it on thick, because I know a lot of it, or I know part of it, I was definitely trying to make it sound like, listen. It's not only because of that, it's also because I just genuinely was inspired by her as a person. And, what she did for me. And I wanted to let that be known, But it's also, when I'm working, I think about that a lot, and I think I want to work hard because I want her to see how much, she's done, and just let her know how incredible a person she is, I guess. And that's something that really motivates me a lot, especially sometimes. Some days are not easy. Like the past week has been fucking rough, if I'm being honest, because it's just been so busy, so tiring. There's not a lot of time to do the stuff that we gotta do. We're already understaffed, and they basically are expecting us to do 2 people's jobs each, and we're one guy. We're 2 guys trying to do 3 to 4 people's jobs. It's not easy, but we do it. And part of what gets me through that is just thinking, I want to do it for her sake, because I want her to see just how much she has inspired me, and how much she has encouraged me to work hard for things, That is kind of what my goal is, I guess. It's it's something that's pretty powerful, but all of those things together kind of are what make me want to work as hard as I do. And so to bring this back all the way to where I was initially, like fucking 15 minutes or whatever so ago. This is fucking so long. But, I guess I don't mind having some longer stuff like this, like having just a weekly update where I just talk about stuff that's happened this week and how things are going, while my stomach just keeps growling and I'm refusing to give it food. Partially because I just want to keep working on this, and yeah. But back to where I was initially with all this, is that I find it's way easier for me to be motivated to do things when it hinges on other people, or when it's for somebody else, because when it's for me, I don't really care that much. I mean, I think an example of this is like my room too. Because for years I would just shove stuff under my bed and just kind of leave it at that. Don't give a fuck, Whatever. Who cares? It only affects me, right? But I think it's way easier when somebody else depends on it, or I have a chance to help somebody else or entertain somebody else or something like that. That I think makes it so much easier. And I guess in a sense it also kind of adds a little bit of pressure too, because when you have someone that's kind of depending on you like that, there is some pressure. Like sometimes when I'm at work and there's a line of like 5 people, it kind of gets intense because it's like, fuck, I have all these people that are they need my help, and I only have a limited amount of time, and it's hard. Sometimes it can be really difficult and stressful, but that also is something that really motivates you to work harder. Like, oh shit, I got 5 people online here. I need to fucking get these orders done because I gotta help everybody. I don't want everybody to be sitting here for 20 minutes while I, meticulously slice things or whatever. So that really motivates me to work harder, and that's kind of what I hope can happen with this channel at some point, even if it's, I don't need 1 million people watching each of these things. But, if I got some people here and there who are like, hey, I really enjoyed this and I'd love hearing more of it down the line, that makes me want to do it more, sort of. Stomach definitely doesn't want to do more. But too bad, you're sitting here, stomach, okay? Maybe I'll have a granola bar after this. I have some granola bars in my backpack. But yeah, I guess this is probably the place to end it. It's, what are we at? 1 hour, 27 minutes. We're almost at the hour, 30-minute mark. Didn't expect to be doing this for this long. I thought, just do a quick update for like 30 minutes or something. And here we are, talking about all sorts of random shit. I guess the one thing I will say is, if you like this sort of stuff, I would like to hear that, whether it be just liking the video or subscribing or, leaving a comment about what you think. Because if people like this sort of stuff where I just kind of ramble for a while about some topics here and there and talk about how my week or my time has been, that would be appreciated, because sometimes it's hard when you don't really have feedback and you don't really know what to do. It's a lot easier when you've got that feedback and you know what to improve or what to keep doing. Again, with like work and stuff, it's nice having coworkers that tell me, hey, you're not doing this right. And I'm not doing this to be a dick to you. I'm not trying to say, you fucked up and you should feel bad and you should hate yourself or something. I'm doing it because I want to tell you you're doing this wrong, but here's how to fix it. And, it's okay that you did this wrong, but in the future, I want you to do this way or something. And I appreciate that feedback because, yeah, it kind of sucks to get in the moment. You kind of feel bad, especially me personally. I guess I just kind of have a heavy conscience. It's like, fuck, I fucked this up and I shouldn't have done this. Like yesterday, my coworker was telling me, you throw away too much meat. You throw away the end piece and that's it. And the customer doesn't like it. You tell them that's what you got to do. And, it sucks to get that feedback sometimes. It feels kind of bad, but it also, it's not coming from a place of malice. It's coming from somewhere where they care about the work that's being done and they care about you because they don't want you to get in trouble, And it's difficult to take that feedback sometimes, but you have to, because that's how it goes. And so What the fuck? It thinks I'm working out? Why does it think I'm working out? My Fitbit just randomly just started a workout. I'm not working out. What? Okay. That was funny. But as I was saying, yeah. I want to have that feedback because I think it makes it a lot easier to understand what to improve or what to keep doing. And I also think it would be a lot easier to get that feedback if I was more consistent, which is what I'm going to try to do from now on. Man, it's funny because I was going to try to like do multiple recordings today and then it just all became one. But yeah. So I think that's probably where I end this. Let me know what you think. If you made it this far somehow. Through all the stomach growling and the 20 random tangents I went on. And I will probably try to make more of these weekly update things, I guess, every week. And then also just kind of talk about some other stuff that I want to talk about down the line as well. I have a lot of topics, a lot of things I want to talk about. I've been brainstorming things, and I keep saying it in these videos, like, oh, you know, this is a whole other topic. So that'll probably happen at some point. But yeah, I guess for now I'm gonna end it here because it's been very long. If you made it through this, I'm surprised that you did. And yeah, I guess that's it.